God, Nick, I just hate Niedermeyer, you know, the bad guy in Animal House. I'm so excited we're doing that movie today.
Yeah, I love Animal House.
So good. We're actually not doing Animal House. We're just doing a movie with Mark Metcalf in it.
I'm going to do Animal House. You guys do the other movie.
Well, that might be more fun for you.
I'm a zit.
Hey guys, it's your favorite final girl and boy, Emily and Nick, as well as our new babysitter, Mike, coming at you with a new episode of Gag Me with a Knife, a weekly podcast where we dissect, disembowel, and shred the best and worst slasher movies. This week we'll be continuing our Backwoods Slasher month as we band together to survive 1983's The Final Terror, or The Final Air, however you want to say it. As usual, Emily has an original VHS box, so let's get ready and let's ready for more nature and hear what's on the back of that box. Just picked it off a fucking tree.
Beautiful actress Daryl Hannah and Rachel Ward, who were once actually roommates in Hollywood, join up again along with sexy Adrian Zmed in this ghoulish tale of murder and the macabre from the creator of Alien. Hannah, Ward, and Zmed are young campers out for a fun-filled weekend who end up in a fight for their lives as they encounter a maniac killer who stalks the forest in search of innocent victims. They play a desperate game of cat and mouse with the killer until it's time for the Final Terror. 1983. What are your thoughts, Nick?
I didn't like it.
I loved it.
So apparently the people at Shout Factory on the version that I watched had put pieces of it back together.
Yeah.
I was very confused. I was lost a lot, and I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm an idiot, but
I did get lost in some parts, and I'll go into that. But I really liked it. I loved it a lot more than Don't Go in the Woods and Just Before Yawn.
Oh, come on.
I hated those, but I did love this movie. So, Mike, why don't you get us started?
All right, so we open on the redwoods, and there's a stream. There's a couple of fawns. Those are baby deer for y'all. But then we hear a motor running, and these people are coming around the corner, and she's like, "Watch out, John!" And there's a motorcycle wreck.
Hilariously slow-mo.
Yeah.
This is how this is what that song "Leader of the Pack" is about. It's the scene in this movie.
So it seems like they're both all right, but the dude's legs hurt. So Lori, the girl,
But not
runs
really.
for help.
It doesn't look that hurt. And also, what's her accent?
Sam Arkoff's niece.
Oh, okay.
Or daughter. So this wasn't actually the director who made this movie. They went back and put this in because there were only 3 kills in the movie. So
they added this in at the end. Yeah.
A second unit, without the director's permission, went and cut this footage. So she runs for help. He hears something in the bushes. There's a cool cut because the bushes are kind of shaking, and then we see her pop out of some other bushes. I thought that was kind of neat.
The killer. Also, he or she. But I did think that it was hilarious when she was searching for help because Ranger Station. Yeah, the Ranger Station. But she just like knocks and then she's like runs away immediately. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
that you really waited for some help there. I mean,
there's nobody at the Ranger Station.
She doesn't stick around with him very long.
No.
She's like, "You okay? No. Okay, bye."
And then she runs to the Ranger Station, knocks once, and runs.
Yeah. There's nobody at the Ranger
Every
Station.
girl in my life.
How would she know that? She doesn't stay there long enough.
It says Ranger on duty.
Okay, I didn't see that.
Kind of thing. There's like a sign saying like nobody's here. So she runs back, but he's not there.
Or is he?
Okay, yeah. So she's looking around, and he flops out of a tree upside down with his throat cut.
She taught me how to dangle.
Yeah, tell us all this time.
How was he hanging up there?
It doesn't show, but I mean, you know, Russell Todd's done that in 2 different movies. He Knows You're Alone and Friday the 13th Part 2, which hadn't come out yet. And they do that in, you know, the movies where usually the guy's like hung upside down and his like blood's on the car, and that's all, you know, that old story. So she, after he falls to where she can see him, she runs off, but there's this bitch and booby trap made of can lids.
Number 10 can massacre.
Yeah, I was like, did that? I mean, she kills her off screen, but I was like, really?
It's funny. It's funny how the cans are going to come back into this.
I feel like that's one of those things everybody can feel because everybody's cut their finger on a
Yeah.
can edge.
I have a scar right here from doing it
Man.
on my finger.
Well, when you're hooking up booby traps, they are exceptionally deadly.
Yeah.
But then we get the opening credits. There's a scene of a highway at night. Under a
Awesome
full moon.
music, by the way.
Yeah, the score fucking
Yeah,
rules,
great
man.
score.
Yeah. Apparently,
Really
the
good.
person who did it was really
It's a
into
woman,
White
right?
Wedding by Billy Idol. So
You
they
can tell.
they
You
based
can
it off
fucking
that. It's
tell.
really good though. The whole score
I
is
wish the
actually
rest of the
really
movie
good.
was as good as this score.
So we're at the Wild River Fire Base. There's a guy in bed. His name's Marco, and he's reading High Style
That's
magazine.
Marco.
the guy that was in Grease 2.
Grease 2 and T.J. Hooker.
Grease 2,
And
Electric
he
Boogaloo.
was in something else that was pretty big.
Why couldn't they use a real High Times though? Why was it High Style? It was.
Oh, yeah.
It was some
I don't-
nasty old high school
Yeah.
weed in there anyway.
Yeah.
But
Well, that's
he
all
gets
they're
choked
smoking
from
in this
behind by Eggers. And
Who is the captain from Bad Boys, the series, and also in the Goonies?
Is he choking him with his own necklace? Is that what's
I think
going
so,
on?
yeah.
Okay. But he's got him from behind. And then he starts hitting his bat against the wall, waking everybody up.
So what are these people? Are they rangers?
They're all Rangers, but Egger's acting like
What
he's
is
a
their
drill sergeant
problem?
in
Yeah.
Full Metal Jacket or something.
But
Like-
he's really like the...
These people all hate each
The
other
handyman.
immediately.
Well, no, they don't.
He comes in being a dick, and they're all like, "We're gonna fuck you up
They
later,
all
man."
hate him. Oh yeah, no. Zmed was also in Bachelor Party.
I don't
That
know.
kid, yeah.
Eggers
Okay, yeah.
and Zorich, who
Dennis.
is... Yeah.
Yeah.
They are fighting. They're setting up their movie-long hatred of one another.
Yeah, Dennis is insane. Almost as insane as Eggers, but you're supposed to like him more, I guess.
At one point, he does a ridiculous De Niro and Taxi Driver impersonation. He's like, "I'll kill you, I'll kill you." But okay, so yeah, Zorich pulls a knife on him. Another one of them takes E's bat. They basically tell Eggers to fuck himself.
And this
then-
is just them waking up.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is wrong with these people? Like,
Yeah.
one dude woke up completely armed and ready to cut a dick off. Like,
we
what
go
kind
to-
of job is this?
They're yeah.
Like,
I know that they're
It's like a
supposed to be
camp for
park
rangers.
rangers. It's like a camp for rangers, but later on, okay.
this
Anyway,
is kind of worse than boot camp.
yeah.
We go to a cafeteria where the head ranger,
Niedermeyer
Mike,
from his name
Animal
is Mike
House.
from Animal House. I know I know in this part he says, "Try to be cool, guys," and I'm like, dude, you do not know how to be cool.
and we find out that he's taking these four guys, Nathaniel, Zorich, Boone,
Zorich is
and-
Dennis also.
Yeah.
Dennis, Nathaniel, Marco,
Boone and
Boone.
Zorich tend to get called by their last name more than their first name for some reason. I'm missing one. Marco. He's taking these four dudes with his girlfriend and three other girls.
Yeah, Wendy, Vanessa, and Melanie.
Margaret. Melanie's
Margaret's
his
his girlfriend. Oh, sorry. Yeah, Melanie's his girlfriend. Margaret, Wendy, and Vanessa. Margaret and
Which
Vanessa
is like
have
a rich
accents.
person's daughter and her two friends. that
Yeah,
are
Wendy's
English and
the only
Australian.
one without the accent. That's Daryl Hannah.
Yeah. So he fills them in, tells them they're going to be going on a work detail.
Yeah.
But Eggers is coming
questionable.
as the driver.
But what is a work detail for these people?
They're cleaning up streams. They're like
It
forest
seems
service
like
people.
they're searching for weed.
That too.
That seems like that's
it's a
all they're
very
doing.
Cannabis-centric film.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Sorta.
then
They
We-
all are
I
smoking at
know,
one
but
point.
it doesn't ever seem to have any effect. They barely talk about it. They throw bushes of it at each other.
Well,
and
until
it's-
Dennis at the
none
end
of
with the
none of them
mushrooms
seem
and
very
shit.
but none of them seem very stoned.
No.
I don't think it's working.
So then we cut to Eggers' workshop, and I don't know if he notices, but on the radio they're talking about the two missing people
yeah.
that we saw get killed. Mm-hmm. So Mike comes in, and him and Eggers start arguing about the trip. Eggers has a lot of arguing scenes in this.
That's
But
all he
Eggers
does.
says, "Why are you taking them there? This is a dangerous area."
And also, he's like, "You can't. I know what you're really doing. You're taking these girls and you're doing this." It's like,
Trying to clean their stream. I know what you mean.
So after the argument, we see
Purify them.
We see
Testify.
the girls with Wendy's parents.
Wendy's parents also, I was like, why are they there? And then they say something like, well, there are 3 adults. Wait, what? There are 3 adults. I thought
Mike?
all of them were adults.
Like it's
Are they supposed to be
it's
teenagers
a
besides Mike?
Ranger camp. They're young rangers.
Whatever. I thought they all looked like adults to me.
They all look like fucking idiots to me.
Well, yeah. I know that he also, Edgar at some point says, yeah, I will pray for you. Or something like that. Y'all need to be praying.
Is this when he's wiping his mouth with a grease rag?
Yes.
God.
He's dripping.
Wiping that banjo mouth with a grease rag.
But now I guess we're in the bus because the three blind mice jam.
Yeah,
Fuck that, dude.
To a harmonica.
God
That's like
damn
my
it.
worst nightmare.
Yeah, and Nathaniel's like, 3 blind,
At this point,
blind.
we've seen lots of like
Dude,
road trip into the woods, and this is by far the worst like singing.
They're singing 3 blind mice for so long and trying to make it like a jam.
This
They
is
don't even-
this is the only part of the movie where I do feel for Edgar and like, yeah, they do suck.
Yeah.
You might have a point. I would have probably
I would-
woken him up like that too, being like, fuck all of you.
But this is also where they pass.
They pass by the mental asylum.
Yeah, mental institution, mental hospital.
So at this point, they arrive to their destination. They're unloading the car,
Wait, but
and we
aren't
see.
they also making fun of Edgar and saying that he's like that's where he used to live? And I'm like, it's a good move making fun of someone who clearly is like unhinged anyway, and could have really possibly been brought up in this mental institution.
So at this point, I thought they were just giving him a hard time, but
at the same time,
turns
he's
out there's more
clearly
to it.
unhinged anyway. I'm just like, y'all need to shut the fuck up. But also, like, Edgar needs to calm down. So
Good old Edgar. So
I don't know, man.
They're
3
unloading
blind
the
mice.
car, and we see some stolen pineapple cans fall out of the car.
Shit.
And so
OMG.
then they're in the stream, and they pretend like they're finding gold.
yeah,
gold
but
up in
then
them
they start
dar
talking.
hills.
That's when they start talking about hippie or like weed, and then one of them says, "Yeah, you better be careful, Arminian, about Marco." And he's like, I heard last time a hippie with an M16 popped out, and I'm like, what the fuck kind of conversation is this? And then like everyone at this point smoking weed.
And they're clearing
hippies with
brush out of
guns?
the stream. Their work detail.
Yeah.
Popped out with an M16, but it fired flowers.
All right. So after a long day of clearing brush, it's time for a campfire tale. Gather
Which-
around.
You know what a campfire tale? What always
Campfire
makes a
rape story?
campfire tale awesome? Rape. Like adding rape into a
And weed.
campfire story
Yeah.
is always the best.
Fucking
What
groovy,
the
man.
fuck?
Who's that telling it? Boone.
Boone is
So-
telling. So
Boone.
yeah,
The
you tell
campfire
the
tale
story.
is there's a logging camp, and there's a pretty girl that lives there, and her parents die. So her lumberjack uncle comes to take care of her, but he rapes the niece, who then loses her mind, is put into asylum, where she has the kid of the rapist, who then, when the kid is 19 years old, he breaks her out and turns her out in these woods. And she'll like go up
Like
to people
pimp-
camp and
pimps
say,
her?
"Who stole
No.
my lamp?"
I wish.
Turns her out.
No,
Like,
he's
now get out there.
he's turning
Get out
her
there
out.
up around the bend and sell that little
Get
pussy.
out there and sell
Yeah.
your pussy.
Leaves
I
her
know
out
you're-
in the woods to survive.
No, he just let her out.
So
Yeah.
Edgar hears this story and comes over, and he is inordinately pissed off that Boone has been telling this story.
So at this point, I wrote this. I wrote, okay, so Edgar's the kid, and he let his mom out of, that's his mom, and he let her out of the institution.
Spoiler alert.
Got it. Like that. I mean, the whole thing. I was just like, all right, so this is clearly about Edgar and his mom. Got it. Thanks, guys.
At
Gave
that point,
that
it's the
away.
question: is it Edgar pretending to be his mom, or is Edgar's mom really out there?
Yeah.
So
The next scene. This is where I got really confused until
Nathaniel
yeah.
and Zorch take Marco out, and they tell him that he's going to be lookout for a weed stealing mission, and every 45 seconds he needs to howl like a wolf.
Okay, and also, okay, I understood finally that this was an elaborate prank, but
Yeah, it's a prank. You couldn't tell when
But
they
at
were
first,
walking
I was
away.
like, did you not like kind of question this when y'all are in the fucking woods? Where are you going to steal weed? Where were they going to steal weed?
Well, it's Northern California, so there are lots of weed farms up in these remote mountains.
In like not when this was filmed in
What's the
1981.
name of that county? Do you know?
Yeah.
The weed county.
Yeah, I can't remember.
It's not Blunt County. No, it's yeah. There's some weed place up there where people steal from. So
In
leave Marco
California?
there.
Yeah.
They have legal weed there?
Oh.
What?
Oh.
They farm it?
Well, this was also filmed in Oregon too. So anyway.
So it's totally a prank.
You just like plant a drug dealer and then he just like grows bags?
Yeah, that's what it seemed
Is that
like
how
to
you
me.
get
I was
weed?
like, how do you just steal
Humboldt
weed?
County is the one I'm trying to-
Humboldt, yeah.
Humboldt County
So-
type of shit.
Anyway, that's a prank. So
Yeah, it was just a prank, but we do see when Marco is there howling, we do see what I call the plant man for the first time.
yeah, the back of the killer.
Yeah. So it looks like, I think there's some snipers that have these suits that look like bushes. That's what it reminded me of. Because
A lot
this
of
person
hair.
looks like they blend into the surroundings.
Yeah, there's a
Quite
lot of just
well, too.
hair.
Yeah.
It's like a swamp
like
thing.
moss.
Kind of
Yeah, yeah.
Or a giant
But that's the
sized
first time we
man
see it is when
It's when he's
they leave
howling.
Marco by himself.
Yeah, so the next day,
So yeah, then it's morning in camp, and it turns out Marco never came back. Melanie and Mike get really pissed off because
but Mark is also like plays like this good guy, and I just can't. After seeing Animal House, it's very hard for me to see Mark Metcalf as a good guy. So
yeah, there's that.
also Edgar has been gone this whole time. Also,
Well, Edgar, I'm sorry, that's one thing I left out.
Edgar done been
leaves.
gone. He
Edgar says,
left.
"I'm leaving" after the story is told.
yeah, he gets
before
pissed.
the prank.
Yeah.
So we go searching for Marco.
Yeah, because they go, they're like, where is he? And they're like, we left him out there. Ha 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 ha. And then immediately Vanessa, that has an accent all of a sudden goes, let's leave. And I was just like,
I noticed that.
what?
Like,
She seems like a real city girl to me.
but
She doesn't-
from
she
what,
has, like,
what
a London
city?
accent.
Like, where's she? Yeah, she
She has
British?
yeah.
Maybe it's that beautiful
British.
skin and British accent.
It's like a British.
I think in real
then we
life-
find out there's more British people in
Well,
the
they
group.
act-
Margaret. But she's like, let's
Margaret's
leave. And I'm like,
Australian.
Secret Brits, man.
Margaret's
or
Australian.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
But I'm like, let's leave.
Vanessa, the actress's dad, I can't say her name. But the actress's dad, I think, is like a Ghanaian prime minister or something like that.
So she's from like South Africa. It's a South African accent?
Central Sub-Saharan.
Oh, okay. I don't know where anything is.
All right, where were we? So they go to find Marco, and they find his handkerchief tied to a tree. And they're yelling, Marco, Marco. And maybe it's a joke. I kept thinking that somebody was going to yell polo back. Am I the only one that thought that?
For a
Everybody's just
second.
I wish
walking
they
through the
would
woods,
have.
Marco!
I also
Marco!"
did notice that Melanie has two
Polo, hey,
legs.
shut the fuck up. Like,
There he is.
Wasn't there something behind his shirt though, like a dead animal's head or something?
It didn't come back to it. I was like, is that a dog's head? But then it never showed it again.
Well, I
So was
thought it
just
might
like,
be a
must-
wolf's head because later we see another
Yeah, we
wolf's head.
see a
but-
they
couple
use it a
wolves
couple
head.
times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the mark
Especially
of
in
the
the
plant man.
turlet.
But that's when we cut to Mike and Melanie, which is probably the
time for
grossest
some
thing I've ever
fucking.
seen in my life. Yeah.
So Mike's like, yeah, screw this. I'm just going to swim. And Melanie happens upon him and starts swimming with him.
Then they start having sex,
Yeah,
and it's
that's what I
fucking
meant.
disgusting.
What's so disgusting about a couple making love in the woods?
Emily, when two people love each other very, very much,
It's just the way that it was shown. It was just, ugh. I was so fucking glad this scene ended the way that it did because I was so ready for it to be over.
So yeah, mid-thrust, Mike is stabbed in the back with some kind of machete deal. And Melanie just kind of slides out from under him. I thought that was really strange looking.
all right, well, you're done.
Then Zorch
Only
and
thinking about
Nate,
yourself again.
Zorch and Nate are kind of looking around too, and they see some smoke coming from a cabin.
Dennis is being racist, by the way. He's like, I don't think they'll like your kind here.
Oh.
To Nathaniel.
It is the country. Zorch wants to. You keep calling it Dennis. I keep calling him Zorch.
Zorch,
They're
yeah.
the same character.
Yeah.
Neil Gorsuch.
Zorch wants to break in. We see
He's acting like he's in the army.
there's some chickens there. Well, I think he was a veteran.
But also, in all of
but
these
also a
movies, I'm like,
child,
quit breaking
a
into
teenager.
people's houses. And cabins.
I've actually done
Seems
this
to be a
before.
recurring
One
theme.
time I was out looking with friends for a cave, and we stumbled upon some kind of weird country cabin, and we actually did go inside and start going through the people's stuff. So this
Jesus
is like
Christ.
a normal thing. When
It's not
out.
normal.
I've actually done that too.
Well, yeah, I think I
Emily,
have
you're the
to.
only one.
No, I've gone to abandoned places.
I broke into a place that was on an island.
So there's some chickens
island.
and
Yeah,
what
in
looks
the
like
river.
Okay.
There's properties out there, and there's summer homes.
I would
they don't
go.
need them.
Oh, okay.
I took a shit in one of them.
So they find a raft, which is
One
got
of their
the marking
rafts.
of
I took
their-
a shit
their
in a
crew.
toilet in one of them, not like on the floor, just to be clear.
Oh,
So,
okay.
All
Well,
right, back to it.
okay.
I didn't like do something terrible.
Okay.
Did you guys see the thing that looked like a pig, but then it screamed? I was like, "Is that a tapir?"
Yeah,
There's some kinda
it
strange-
was a goat that had been sheared.
Oh, it was a goat.
You just couldn't see its head. It
I'm
did
gonna
look
go-
weird because it looked scaly or something. Yeah.
They also stumble upon a fresh grave.
But also, at this time, when they're in the are they in the cabin yet?
Or, wait, not
They
a
just go
goat,
to the
a fucking
cabin.
sheep. I'm off my
This is
game.
right before they go.
Oh,
in
before
the
they go
cabin.
into the cabin. Okay.
But when they get in the cabin,
All of a sudden, Dennis Zorch had like, I don't know how he had the time to do this, but he scares.
yeah, he's dressed as an old lady.
He's dressed as an old lady. I was like, when did you have time to do that?
He's got
have
that
no
shit
idea.
on lock.
But they find mushrooms, so.
Yeah.
And then they think Egger's a cross-dresser because they figure it's
They
Egger.
also see
Yeah.
Egger's
totally a
pineapples that he had
cross-dresser.
stolen. They see the 2 big cans of pineapple and realize that the hat and the mushrooms. They realize that this is Egger's place.
Yeah.
Oh, and they
And
found the
then-
radio that he had stolen from Nathaniel.
They open that closet and find a wolf's head.
A Sever's wolf head with a snake going inside of it.
Yeah.
They decide, this is gross, we're going to make a run for it. And we go back to the camp at night.
And Boone says, quote, Mike and Mel are probably all right. And I was like, how do you figure, Boone? Like, I mean,
Boone's a fucking idiot.
but I do like his accent. And also, he shouldn't be the one that's the ladies' man. But,
I can't figure out if I want
whoever-
to fuck or fight him.
oh, it's Dennis Zorch that has the idea immediately at this point that they should pair up. I was like,
But
finally,
then
some smarts.
He's also like, I'll take first watch by myself.
Yeah.
What's the point of the pairs if you're going to watch by yourself? So then we see it's night. Everybody's sleeping except Dennis, I guess. But we see the plant man. I'm going to keep calling it the plant man.
Yeah, plant man's
We see
good.
the plant man petting Margaret's face and whispering to her until she wakes up. It's like, you're not being very good at being sneaky
No,
here.
she sees Plant Man.
She wakes up, sees Plant Man, starts screaming. And Dennis falls running back over from his watch and breaks his wrist in the creek.
Yes.
Yeah, but he doesn't seem very like put out by it.
No.
And
No.
It's
You know
like-
how
it
they
seems like it's
solve
just
this
Tuesday
problem?
for him.
They're like, let's just smoke a joint.
And they do.
But then Marco sneaks up on him. He's not dead. Marco comes back carrying a big weed plant.
So he actually sold some weed.
I've seen bigger.
That's a prank gone right.
But Vanessa at this point has to go to the bathroom, right? But she also says a couple things. I'm like, yeah, you're right about everything you're saying right now. Like, you should probably, this is fucked. Like, this situation's fucked.
She goes to this outhouse and she in this country house outhouse, she puts paper down on the toilet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was hilarious. You hear the fly noises, but then she sees a wolf's head.
No, it's not a wolf's
and
head.
then the wolf's head's there,
It's
and then
there.
she sees
It's in
Mike's
there.
head too.
Oh, okay. So
She sees the
I
wolf's
just saw
head,
Mike's
like,
head.
then a
I wrote
flashlight-
Mike's head's in the potty.
Mike's head is in the potty indeed. So the others come running. Zorch pukes.
And then he says, we need to start looking and thinking like the forest. Okay, looking, I understand. But what does it mean?
Well, they do that part.
What does it mean to start thinking like the forest?
Doesn't Craig from Don't Go in the Woods talk about thinking like the forest?
Probably. He's a fucking idiot. But, like, I
Dummy.
do like the camaraderie here, and I also like that these people are still around. I don't hate these characters. So I do like that they're banding together and fighting back. But, however, I at this point had a feeling that it ain't Egger, because that's who they're going after. They think that Egger has killed Mike.
They decide that in the morning.
I want to note that at this point they have cleaned exactly no fucking streams. Yeah, they got a little bit of weed, But they're not doing any part of their job.
Their leaders
They
are
can't
gone.
now because his head got cut off.
Well, I mean, still, they could be doing something.
You think they should still be working after
They
they
could at
found his
least clean
head?
up that fucking outhouse.
Yeah, they could clean up the gore out of the outhouse. Oh,
No, actually, considering that later on the burial they give somebody, they should have at least buried Mike's
Yeah,
head.
they just leave him in the shitter.
They just leave it in the fucking outhouse.
They really quit pretty soon. They like dig like a 2-foot hole, and they're like, "That's enough."
So at this point, they do their
it's
Red
like-
Dawn impression and like wipe dirt on their face, and they're all dressed like commandos. Did they all have the camouflage gear?
No,
when they
Vanessa
shipped up?
has like it looks like a lampshade on her head, but it's not a lampshade. Like, it looks like this, like she took some like gray shit and cut into it and just like put it on her head.
God damn it! How'd you have time to do paper mache out here?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
And I was like, is this what thinking like the forest is? I mean, when you go into the kids, I think the next thing is they go into that cabin.
Yeah,
so.
they're doing a
The
dawn
forest
raid.
likes to accessorize.
A raid at dawn on Egger's cabin. So there's when they go in, well they knock and they're like, Egger's come out, blah blah blah. Nobody's there, it seems like. So they go in and there's just flesh on the table.
That's when I wrote, this killer wild as hell.
But we see that Plant Man has a knife to Melanie's throat under the floorboard.
Yeah,
where
in
they
the
can't
basement
see.
or something. Yeah.
They see a hand in a jar, which I'm guessing is Mike's hand.
That's
so
when they're
they're
like,
like-
let's get the fuck out.
They're like, let's get out of here.
Not before they drop it on the floor and kick it.
They steal the raft back from Eggers that he had stolen from their work.
Yeah, the one they saw earlier. And when they're in the raft, by the way, I think it's either Margaret or Vanessa. I couldn't tell because it was it was an accent, but maybe Vanessa. I think she says, "I can't swim," and I was like, "Why the fuck did you go on a camping trip if you can't swim?"
You were going to be
And-
cleaning out streams.
And later on, I did see her in the raft doing shit. Like doing absolutely
She
nothing,
just, like,
just
sits in the
sitting there
middle.
like a bump on a log. So I was like, I guess she's the one that can't swim. I mean, she ain't doing shit on this
So
raft.
They're taking the raft to the river, and for some reason, the killer puts a hat on Melanie.
Yeah.
Did you guys catch
and-
that?
yeah.
You got to look stylish, like
Yeah.
like a Raymond Chandler detective or some
This
shit.
scene is cool though, when they're rafting.
All right, so we can tell that the killer with Melanie is stalking them, somehow going as quickly as the boat down this river. But at some point, they are like underneath this big boulder, and the killer throws Melanie
Onto the raft.
onto the raft. And
It's
she's
a
had
cool scene.
She's had her throat cut, and there's a rope around her neck, so maybe she was strangled too.
Yeah, it was actually that like scared me, and I thought was a good gore scene, and surprising. I didn't expect that.
And that was a real person hitting the raft too, wasn't it?
Totally.
That was
Well,
like a practical stunt.
all of the cast members in this movie, apparently, this is what I've read. They all did their own stunts in this
yeah?
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so they stop to bury Melanie, which I think is fucking ridiculous.
Why
in a
did you
horror
not
movie.
bury Mike's
It's like-
head? You
But I
left
mean,
that in a fucking
there's a
outhouse.
kid-
Oh,
killer
and this is where
hunting
they
you.
only dig for a second,
Yeah,
and then
they're
they're like,
like,
"That's
"That's
good
enough."
enough." Like,
Yeah.
like she wasn't that close with us. It's like none of you guys are close.
And then Dennis just keeps going, come on, 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 come on. I'm like, oh my God.
So they get back in the raft, and not much longer, they see the bus that Eggers was supposed to drive, and they think that it's a trap. Eggers is there waiting for them. But
And it's 100% broke down as fuck.
yeah, they go up to the bus. It's empty.
So
check
they
the
decide to get
engine.
high.
Yeah, they're like, let's smoke
What
a
else is there
fucking
to
joint.
do?
Yeah, they're like, well, Egger's not here, and our
Fire
friends,
it up.
our
And this-
friends are dead, but
this is
let's
where
get
Zorch-
high. And
this-
Dennis / Zorch is like, I'm gonna eat these
Eat
mushrooms.
these
Yeah,
fucking magic
fuck yeah.
mushrooms.
Hell yeah, dude! Let's
Which
get down and
somehow
start the
don't take effect
revolution.
until the next day.
Well,
He eats the
I
mushroom
don't know
at
how.
night.
I don't know how late it is into the night.
And we don't
that
know how
happens.
many he ate. He had a
Or
whole
how
jar
early.
of them.
So
That's
it
true.
could
It
have just
could've-
been a couple hours. But the next scene with Egger breaks my heart.
I've never gone to a
And
drug
they-
dealer and asked
It's-
for a jar of mushrooms. Like, How much are you looking for, man? A jar.
A whole jar, just
Like a
whatever.
full mason jar, just like the biggest one you got.
And why did Edgar or whoever have those? Anyway, whatever.
We see Edgar in the cabinet. He says, I told him
Edgar
not
likes to get
come."
down and listen to some Emerson,
Yeah.
Lake and Palmer.
Edgar is sitting in the cabin. He's like, I told him not to come. And it actually was like,
You can tell.
it broke
he's
my
not
heart a
happy
little
with
bit.
what's
He's
happening.
like, I told him not to come. This is bad. And I really felt bad for him then. But then back to Vanessa having the worst luck of anyone in this movie, by the way. She fucking goes to the fucking outhouse, finds a head. Now she's, poor thing, just sitting, she's sitting in the bus right there. That's where a hatchet comes in. I was like, damn, girl.
Oh, yeah. Hatch it through the window. So everybody, it takes a second.
Yeah,
to
because
get
they
through
think
the
they're
back door.
stuck.
Yeah, they think they're stuck, but they all get away.
They're just really high.
But
Well, Dennis is.
Wendy gets separated
Yeah, Daryl
while they're
Hannah.
running away. Yeah, Daryl Hannah's.
I said,
gets
I
separated.
wrote, who let her out on her own?
Does
I
Neil
think it
Young
was-
know about
I
this?
think it was Dennis that was supposed to be with her and just leaves her.
Because he's fucking high as hell.
Yeah. Then she gets whacked in the neck.
Yeah, her, I was like, for being such a beautiful woman and all this, like, her wound is in a bad place.
It's not good. But so Zorich and Marco go back to the bus to get the first aid kit.
So
When they get
Margaret
back,
can stitch her up.
Margaret
Yeah.
sews her up.
so she can get stitches in the dark.
Yeah.
Gotta do
She
what you
does
gotta
stitch
do.
her up, though. And then Dennis is standing there out of his damn mind, just watching whatever.
And they decide that it's time to hunt the hunter.
Because I think even at this point, Wendy's like, Edgar needs to die.
There's no better time to hunt the hunter than whenever somebody has eaten a jar of mushrooms and everybody else is stoned out of their fucking mind.
Yeah, but they do create a cool tree trap.
Yeah, and
There is no fucking way they did that.
but I was really impressed by the professional
Dude,
lumberjack
that is like
rope
some
walk thing.
That is some
was
predator
impressive.
level shit,
It
dude.
is.
Like,
It is very. I thought that this reminded me of a mixture between Deliverance and Friday the 13th, but yeah, I don't think any of this part could have happened because of how fucking high they all are.
Yeah,
but whatever.
I think they dreamed all this. Like, there is no way.
I mean, Edgar did not deserve any of this, but
So yeah, Marco starts calling for Edgar. You can tell that they've gotten ready. Marco's calling for Edgar, and Edgar does come up and chokes him from behind, just like he does in the beginning of the movie.
he does
But
that on
Marco
purpose. Though
likes
it's
that.
it's an ambush. It's like it's an
Marco, a
ambush
freak.
kind of situation. Yeah, but while he's doing that, we find out Edgar's not the killer.
Yeah, they're all kicking Edgar's ass, but then we see Plant Man
Well, they
emerge
kill
from the
him.
redwood stuff.
They kill Edgar, I think.
No,
Not
no.
yet, because he
Not yet.
says, "Mama."
But he is a death.
Yeah, he's in bad condition.
He's beaten to death.
He's in the process of dying.
Yeah.
When we see the Plant Man or woman
It
emerge
says,
from a
"Mama,
redwood
she
stump,
be wildin'.
Mama.
and,
Edgar, mama be wildin' out.
and so Plant
Dennis
Lady,
high fuck.
Plant Lady slices Dennis's leg. He falls on the rocks and breaks his neck.
That's all cool. Cause he tripped.
Then Plant Man goes,
He's fine with it.
and everybody looks. And they're like, "Oh shit, Edgar's not the killer." And that's when Plant Man trips the trap wire and catches a huge spiked log to the gut.
There is no
Yeah, I was
fucking
like,
way.
this ending is wild as fuck. And then I was like, oops about Edgar, I guess, because the ending is just them like looking
Looking
at
for
this.
Meggers, looking to Plant Man.
like
oh,
looking and
shit.
being like, oh fuck, we fucked up with Edgar.
Yeah, y'all are murderers.
Do you think that they all realize, like, hey, Boone's campfire tale is real, and it was Edgar's and his mom?
I don't think so. They were all too high.
Nick, did you realize it?
I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure
realized
I
it,
agree with
but-
Emily. I'm pretty sure those motherfuckers
Yeah.
didn't. That never dawned on them.
No, I think
Like-
they should have known when Edgar got pissed at the beginning during the story, but they were all high
Yeah,
the
he
whole
was
time.
really mad.
Yeah, I mean, and yeah, so that's the end of the movie. It kind of ended in the same way with them looking in shock at what had happened, much like the end of Don't Go in the Woods or The Hills Have Eyes or The Last House on the Left, kind of like, oh fuck, oops.
Yeah.
Like now we're murderers. Like, we're just as bad.
She was crazy. She deserved it.
I mean, I don't know what I don't know how you become feral as an adult, but whatever.
It's just
You
called
get
being
raped by your
crazy.
uncle.
Oh yeah, she was in the mental institution. Well, Egger should never let her out. Whatever.
So Andrew Davis, the director, he actually went on to. Am I jumping the gun here?
Are
with
we
talking
doing?
about him?
Well, what are we doing?
Are we doing fun facts?
Well, we usually, yeah, sure, we can do fun facts first or kill count. Kill count's usually pretty fast.
Okay, well, why don't you go
I'll
do
do
that?
the kill count real quick. One is Jimmy. He's hung upside down, throat slit off screen. 2 is Lori. She's killed off screen by that can trap. And then it takes quite a while. Although I didn't mind this because I liked the camaraderie in between scenes, so I did not mind that there was a lengthy amount of time until the next kill. Number 3, we have Mike stabbed to death, and his head is eventually cut off. 4 is Melanie. Her throat slit, and she's thrown into the raft. 5 is Egger. He's beaten to death by Margaret, Wendy, Morgan, Marco, Nathaniel, and Boone.
The whole gang.
Besides Dennis, because Dennis is too hot to be doing anything.
He just likes to watch.
But while he's being beaten to death, Dennis is also murdered. He falls from the rocks. And then number 7 is Egger's mother, who is impaled on spikes by the spiked log trap.
She looked really cool.
Yeah, she did. It was creepy. And I really loved this movie.
She looked really cool, like Elvis or Sammy Davis Jr.
like whenever Paul McCartney would smoke a cigarette,
Yeah,
that made
yeah.
him look cooler.
Yeah.
That was the kind of cool.
I gotta
the
disagree
2
with
times
Nick on
in
this
Paul
one, too.
McCartney's life when he smoked a cigarette.
One thing I really appreciate about this movie, because there isn't much character development, I felt like it was a really modern feel to the movie because it didn't get hung up on all the 80s tropes that a lot of these slashers do.
Well, I think one reason that happened is even though these tropes are by this point that I'm about to say were there because they had started in like 74, 75 with Texas Chainsaw and Black Christmas. But I think one of the reasons that this is a little bit different is because even though it came out in 83, it was filmed in 81.
Yeah.
And shelved for 2 years until they thought that they could make money off of it because of Daryl Hannah, Rachel Ward, and Adrian Zmed. I guess that's how you say his name.
You gotta
TJ
let that
Hooker was
poontang
big.
ripen.
I like how also on the back of the box, like instead of talking about the movie, it's mostly about how
these big
these stars lived together at one point. So okay, but
pretty cool.
more fun facts. I'll go ahead and say some. I do know that I couldn't find the budget. I only found something saying that it had a medium budget, but since it was shelved for 2 years, when it was actually released, it was only released at first in 17 LA theaters and made $90,000. The opening sequence we talked about was filmed after filming Wrapped. Joe how do you say his name? The one that plays Egger.
Pentagliano?
Yeah. He came to his audition in character. His mother was played by a man. The music was inspired by White Wedding. I already talked about that. Cast members did their own stunts. It was shown on TV as the movie Carnivore. It was filmed in Oregon and California. And like I said before, many people think of it as a mix of Deliverance and Friday the 13th, which by the end you can see why. Because it's the mom.
I read that it had a working title of Bullshit in C major.
There were also other names that were thrown around. Three Blind Mice was the original. No, it really was. Three Blind Mice was the original working title.
With me?
Yeah,
That's
because
ridiculous.
of the song and
Oh, I forgot that was even.
Wait, that's for are you fucking with me?
No.
3 blind mice.
I would have liked it better.
And
if
then
it was
one
called
of
that.
them was like the Primeval. Something about the Primeval. Something like that.
Okay.
So this was a Samuel Z. Arkoff production.
Yes. Yeah.
Also, Andrew Davis, the director, went on to be a big action movie guy who worked with like Steven Seagal and Arnold Schwarzenegger, directing all kinds of movies throughout the 90s. I did want to talk about some of the actors' other movies.
Well, I mean, I think we all know.
Yeah,
Daryl Hannah.
Daryl Hannah, yeah. But Margaret, Rachel Ward, was in Night School.
Which we
might
are
come-
going to be covering next month in our back to school
But yeah,
month.
Jim Pentagliano, Daryl Hannah, they're big timers.
And Adrian Smith at the time was big. That's why they decided to put it out.
Nate was great as
Nathaniel.
Nathaniel was great as one of the guys in White Men Can't Jump.
Oh shit, he was in that.
He was. And Vanessa was in The Seventh Sign and Crossroads.
Huh. Well, there you go.
It was a good cast.
So what are you star rating, Nick?
0.
You give it a 0 for
Yeah,
real.
I fucking
You gave
hated
Don't Go
it,
in the
dude.
Woods any stars, and you give this a 0. You can't
Yeah.
even get a
You
0.25.
gave Don't Go in the Woods
I saw in
3.
yours you put like an 8.75.
No,
out of
I
fucking
didn't.
5.
It's a 3.75.
Oh well, it looked like an 8.
Well, how would it be 8 out of 5?
I don't know. You said you loved the movie. I don't.
I would never put it. Okay, but it's not a 0. There were parts in that movie you liked. Don't act like that.
There was lots
Not
of
really.
weed, man.
Those-
Come on.
okay, I'll give it a half of what 25% of 1 star,
0.25. Okay.
0.25 of for the song, the opening score.
And the ending score.
Oh, sure.
And the mid score was pretty creepy too. They had some good synth stabs and stuff. So, what do you give it?
I'm going
Mike?
to give it a 3.25. I thought it was really well done. And of any of these Backwoods movies, by far the most expensive production.
And which is shocking because they didn't have money for a lot of money for lighting, and so the original is very dark. But
And I thought the Eggers performance by Pentagliano was just amazing.
I thought it was just fun, and it didn't bore me. And like I said, I don't care if there's not a kill every second, as long as there's something going on in between that entertains me. And all that shit was very entertaining to me in between. Except for the sex scene. That grossed me out.
I didn't like that either.
I was going to give it 4, but I took away 0.25 because of the sex
Those
scene.
kids weren't horny at all compared to
No,
most of
but
these
Boone
movies.
was. Boone was a ladies' man. He was staying. That's why he stayed back, because he was trying to get with one of them. They don't say which one.
Who would you get with?
Probably Margaret. She was hotter than Daryl Hannah, in my opinion.
I think I'm going to go with Vanessa.
I'm gonna go with Boone.
Boone had that accent though.
He had that ass too.
That
That ass, though.
Earlier, you said, "Why would anyone like him?"
Well, I said I want to either fuck or fight him. I think it's both the same thing at that point.
All right, so stay gagged on.
Stay gagged on big cans of pineapple.
Yeah, stay gagged on mushrooms.
Stay gagged on Boone's big thing.
Stay gagged on Mark Metcalf's head in a fucking outhouse.
Stay gagged on Boone's hammer of doom.
Stay gagged on High Styles magazine.
Yeah.
And stay gagged on whatever that was, that lampshade thing that Vanessa was wearing on her head. And, also stay gagged on thinking like the forest. And stay gagged on all of our social media. Instagram, TikTok, Gag Me With a Knife Podcast. And you can get our merch at gagmewithanifepodcast.com. We will see you next week for our final Backwoods Slasher.
Boone!
Boom, please come get me.
No, just come.
Bye.